On July 19th, 2021, I spoke with Anna and Sandra, herbal self-heal empowering community stewards, the creators and operators of Green Muse Herbs. We chatted about plant-human relationships, the slow, steady growth of the shop, and how Green Muse Herbs is a mother-daughter created community hub, both teaching the wisdom of plant life, Anna, the certified herbologist, and her mother, Sandra, an academic facilitating plant-human relationships.
My name is Anna, and I am a practicing herbalist. And when I'm not gardening or at home with my cats and partner, I'm working here in the shop, helping folks to grow their own medicine.
Hi, I'm Sandra, Anna's mom, and I'm here most of the time, and I've been teaching English at Camosun College, academic writing skills for students, and so lately it's been mostly online. So I still go into the college sometimes, and I have an office there, but mostly I'm here in the back teaching online in the morning before the shop opens. And I'm also working on a doctorate. I've finished all my coursework, and I'm starting my dissertation. I'm doing an inquiry into human-plant relationships and sort of transformative and healing power of plants, which fits in well with the shop and spending much time with all the plants here and tapping into my daughter's wisdom on the healing role of plants in her life. So
What are some of the wares and herbs that folks can find at Green Muse Herbs?
Well, we've got over 300 organically cultivated dried herbs. Many of them are fairly traded as well. And we've got culinary herbs, mainly Western medicinal herbs. So yeah, dandelion, turmeric, chamomile, mint, all kinds of things. We've got some specific to perfumery, some specific to making your own bitters,
dye herbs,
smoking blends. We've got all kinds of stuff going on here with the dried herbs, and we're trying to grow as much as we can locally, and by we, I mean farmers. So we've got 3 farms growing, and just like, yeah, and we're also a pickup drop-off location. We started carrying their, so one of our main suppliers of locally grown herbs is Flora and Fungi. They're in the Cowichan Valley, and yeah, they do a weekly veggie box and
drop off for us here every Tuesday.
Yeah, every Tuesday, and then whatever's left is 50% off on Saturdays. So that's pretty
amazing.
Sweet.
Yeah.
And
the other farm partners.
Oh yeah, and then we've got Veridita Farm and Apothecary, and Murray's growing these beautiful bouquets with medicine right in there. They got tobacco flowers, verbena flowers, Persian roses, all cultivated. Yeah, and
with
what else
her
we
love.
got? Yeah, and she's growing some beautiful starts. We've got some 1 gallon starts in right now, motherwort, valerian, skullcap, wild daga. We've got over 70 kinds of seeds, and they're buy 2 packs, get 1 free. We've got tinctures and resins and carrier oils and cold drinks and beeswax and flower essences. Probably the largest selection in the city.
Honey and beeswax products from Fredericks.
Yeah.
Not to mention those community partners from Up Island, because they're another family farm that have been there a long time.
They're sweet.
Deliver everything themselves. And another new farm that's just starting up in Souk.
Yeah, 5 farm. Yeah, and they're as well as growing some herbs. They do supply us with some fresh culinary herb bundles for cooking. One of the great ways of getting medicine into your diet is by cooking with fresh herbs or making fresh teas. And we've got lots of bundles coming
John's into biodynamic farming?
Yeah, and they're gonna also start up some spagyric tinctures.
Oh.
And yeah, the flower farm I mentioned earlier, we're also gonna partner and do some hydrosols together, and
Nice.
yeah, lots going on, and
And eventually some tinctures with the fresh herbs.
Cool.
yeah, we partner with a local tincture company. We're gonna have some locally grown
Nice.
fresh herb tinctures available. Super strong, 1 and 2, so that'll be
Whew.
great.
That's great.
Yeah.
And then a lot of amazing herbalists, locally and, maybe from Salt Spring, from Muscogee. So, we do bring in people from a little farther up the island, and amazing products.
Yeah.
Variety.
A lot of our products, the herbalists are growing the herbs as well as making the medicine. So that's definitely a bit of a focus, or like to spotlight folks who are doing that, because that's twice the medicine, twice the gift.
Rebecca,
and-
Twig and Stone.
yeah,
and
Rebecca's amazing. She's been teaching at
Nice.
the Compost Education Center. You can learn to grow your own herbs. You can learn to make your own first aid kit with herbs. Yeah, check her out. She does an amazing collection of tincture blends,
Cool.
and also makes beautiful sprays and throat spray and salves, all kinds of all
Natura
kinds.
Sophia soaps are hot,
Herbal
hot, hot.
soaps. Yeah. Herbal soap.
Botanical soaps
Yeah.
and some flower essences.
Yeah.
Nice.
And some products from a little further away. Also some publications as well.
Yeah, small
Nice.
press. Some small press zines and publications. What else do we got going on?
The medicine making supplies, knowledge
Oh
cards.
yeah, games. We got herbal games and
What?
puzzles.
Herbal games? Oh my gosh. This is fun.
Yeah,
I didn't
And
even see those. This is
knowledge
great.
cards and medicine making supplies like capsule machines and capsules, and we've got knowledge cards. Amazing Pacific Northwest plant
Those are
knowledge cards.
fun.
So,
Awesome.
yeah, royalty sales of cards for
Go to
Native
Put
Plant
Back in
Nursery.
Out.
Oh, that's great. I love that. So it's
And it's
native plants too.
restoration projects on Todd Inlet. And they also came up with this sort of indigenous plant memory matching card game, so we can start them out really young.
That is great. What an awesome concept. I love it.
And practical herb cards from the Western tradition from Henriette Press.
Yeah, those we brought in all the way from Finland.
See, there's
Yeah.
some things that can come a little bit far that are okay to travel. Come on. There's like, especially when it comes to art or things that people are creating. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, I love this. So good. So good. And you know what? I'm just going to fly in here too, because of course we'll incorporate more of these awesome visuals, but people should just come right down to your location and see all of the amazing stuff and ask about all this stuff. So would you like to remind everyone about your location?
Yeah, come on down to 101 1310 Waddington Alley, just between Lower Johnson and Lower Yates. Follow the wood bricks, and we got all windows, so we'll see you coming, and there's fresh tea brewing.
Thank you so much for meeting with me. This is really spectacular. Just as like a cursory thing, I love the shop. This is why I was like, okay, we have to, so long as everyone's into it, chat and just talk more about it. But let's begin with, how did Green Muse begin? And what brought both of you together to create Green Muse Herbs? Yeah,
so we were gardening. We spent a year gardening together, as well as being subscribed to CSA for a farm in Cowichan Valley called Flora and Fungi, and they also grow medicinal herbs, and just experiencing the quality of the fresh locally grown herbs made such an impact in our lives, and part of Green Muse Herbs was kind of born out of that relationship, and also the closing of Self Heal, beloved community herb shop. Spent a lot of time there, and yeah, that community feel, the notice board, the self-serve counter, the blends they had. They were a real, yeah, fixture in the community, and I really appreciated them and what they offered, and yeah, kind of feeling like there was a hole there. And so yeah, part of getting closer together and growing more herbs, and also having to take time off of care work, which is what I was doing before. Yeah, and yeah, that's what I got. I don't know what you want to say.
Yeah, I think, that the whole concept of self-heal too, is that we're really about self-healing. Like that's been my philosophy most of my life. And just to support, to be in that place where we feel strong enough to support others in healing themselves and wanting to collaborate and work with other people to provide more access to plant medicine and building relationships with plants, whether that's a live plant and starts and growing it in your garden, having the seed starting from the beginning, or at whatever stage in the plant's life that you want to have that relationship, or sourcing plants that have been harvested sustainably, maybe cultivated rather than wildcrafting, even though I've done a lot of wildcrafting. Just really thinking about relationship to the plants and our planet and our local community. I also grew up on a farm, so I'm also a very practical person, and bring that to the table, and thinking about my daughter and becoming an herbalist and how you sort of step into that role. It's not like when you study for 5 years to become a doctor and you can walk in to a job, right? It takes a long time to build those relationships in community. And so, I really wanted to support Anna in launching her career as well, and creating a sort of stable foundation for that, and seeing what I had to offer. And my youngest child is my son, Harry, went off to school, first year university. And so I had to move. Then we found this place, so rare to find live work retail. So I have a legal suite in the back behind the shop. So just to have the resources to get a business off the ground. They don't have a lot of, capital.
Yeah.
Just really keeping it minimal and what we can manage on our own with the resources that we already have.
Yeah, totally. That's really neat to know, because admittedly, the location that you guys have is a really unique location. Cool, because it even, Waddington Alley has the wooden bricks left over from the 1800s. So it is a well-established area, which is kind of neat. And the idea that there is a really unique retail livable space like that is super rare and cool. So it's almost like it was meant to be. It was meant to be. It was supposed to happen.
And very close to Pacific Rim College, where Anna's studied as well. It's just half a block from Market Square. Yeah.
Yeah, Pacific Rim College is really cool. And their whole structure is gorgeous. It's, I don't know, I'm familiar with the Herbal Dominion program that's in Vancouver and some of these other ones, but I know Pacific Rim takes a very, I think, holistic approach, perhaps, has a very, organic sort of way of doing it. Organic's probably not the right way of saying it. I think I'm trying to capture a feeling with a wrong kind of adjective. So pardon me on that one. But I think that's really cool with it all being connected in that way. Just from there, before we hop into a really related topic on like the goals of the shop and like the long term, I just was really thinking about two things. One, I would love to hear a bit more about the human plant relationships, Sandra, because it was beginning to even come up with just the whole inception of Green Muse and how that, connects even to your own personal research and, interests as well.
Sure, I can. I've been participating in community gardens and sort of community food activism for many years, participating in community gardens in Nanaimo when I lived there, and quite involved in the food sustainability movement and access to healthy foods, then I had to move over to Vancouver and I joined a garden there. And then I started to think more about food as medicine. And I met an herbalist named Garlic, who's actually just recently moved to Victoria. And, and I participated in an herbal integration course with a focus on plant spirit medicine and meeting with other people and studying like one plant at a time, having a relationship, going out and having plant sits and then sitting together in a circle and sharing what we experienced while we were sitting with the plant and learning through a relationship with the plant. And then it just kept growing from there. And I've also had an opportunity to support Couch and Elder Della Rice Sylvester in just having the honor to witness her role in her community to support herbal medicine and just access to plants to improve people's quality of life and sort of the culture and how that's integrated into a lifestyle.
Yeah.
And really helping me to reconnect with my own roots that I've been really disconnected from. So I think it's all been part of a really long healing process for me. I was adopted and, split families from all over the place, right? So that, really feeling a need to have roots and have roots for my family and my children and my grandchildren and hoping to leave something for them and give something back. So I know that's a little bit off topic about the relationship with plants, but I just think, our own ancestry as people, reconnecting to our ancestors, but before humans were on the planet, there were plants. Plants are our ancestors. And so looking at my relationship with plants as teachers and having like a wisdom that goes beyond what we know as a human species. And so I'm exploring that. But I could talk about it for hours. So
No. I don't see that as being off topic at all, because I'm from the philosophy of thinking that everything really deep down is connected. We have all these different ecosystems of life that there's a spiral effect that everything is connected in one way or another. There's something overlaps and influences the other thing. So that totally makes sense. And that is a really beautiful reminder that plants are our ancestors. They are. They predate us, and they have so many fascinating things they do. I took a botany course like a long time ago, and I just love their adaptations to life and how they navigate and all their things. Even the most peskiest weed, the idea that a morning glory weed will come up and wrap itself around a plant beside it and get all that photosynthesis that it needs. They're really cool, and it is connected to humans. I love that. Thank you. I really appreciate you indulging me in that. And I would love to talk more about it, but I suppose we should remain on topic and stay in the direction we're going. The other thing I wanted to bring up, because it was occurring to me, is like when you mentioned wildcrafting versus cultivation, and perhaps you both will have something to say to this. What is perhaps energetically or physically the main difference when people are using wildcrafted versus cultivated herbs in the long run? Because we always hear about these two different things.
Yeah, we've had lots of conversations about that. It's an important aspect of the philosophy for the shop, but I know Anna.
Yeah, I'm not sure about physical versus energetic, but what first comes up for me is just making sure that relationship is a mutual one and a reciprocated one, and to care for the plants as they care for us. And when you're growing a herb, that's a great kind of entry point in a way of like, it's like you tend to it, you water it, you care for it, and tend to the soil, make sure it has enough nutrients, it gets enough light, and that kind of changes relationship, instead of thinking, oh, like what can, you know, mullein do for me? It's more like, oh, what can I do for this mullein? You know, it's not, well, mullein's usually pretty happy anywhere, but
Reciprocal relationships.
yeah, just like
Yeah.
for me, like that shift in having a more kind of conscious relationship with medicine, I think is a big part of the healing and what they give us. And a big part of the medicine is that you are also is that like tending and that nurturing and that that nurturing of life just for the sake of nurturing life. And that is a beautiful thing. And when it comes to wild crafting, back to that question, wild crafting versus cultivated, right now it's just feeling really not sustainable to wild harvest. It's becoming quite popular in quite a few areas, whether you're foraging for inks, for cooking, for medicine, it's a lot of different folks, and a lot of folks in general starting to wild harvest, and we're at a point now where I feel like we have to put more in than we're taking, and so the idea with this shop is to nurture those relationships and to support the farmers, because we have such an amazing farming community here on the island, and doesn't make sense to ship so much from England or wherever, just to when we have farmers here who deserve our support and quite frankly worship, and then in terms of quality too, it comes into it. It's a lot fresher. You're not having to ship as much, so there's not as much stress on
Planet's resources for
planet's
transporting.
resources. Thank you. And just the fact that it's just so much fresher by the time it gets to you. You know, it takes, instead of a lot of the commercially available sits for quite a while and travels for quite a while, and by the time it gets you, there's less medicine there. It hasn't been maybe cared for as it should have been, and did I answer that question?
I want to just add to that and just say, you know, in terms of wild crafting, I think if you have an individual relationship with the plant and you go out and you have an intention for healing work, and you wild craft for yourself, and you have a right relationship with the plant, that's one thing. But if we as a business ask people to wild craft and harvest and take, it's sort of encouraging people to take with and lose that sense of right relationship. Then they're taking it and selling it to us, and then it's out of balance. And so as a shop, to have that responsibility, to have alternative sources, and just really think about what plants. Maybe there are a few that we can still have wild crafted, but maybe they're stewarded on the land in their natural environment.
Yeah.
So there are some herbs where we know that's a situation where they just do better on the land or on people's personal private property, where they're tending it. So it could be in a greenhouse, but it could also be part of a forest, you know, on a
But the idea is
land.
that you're keeping an eye on those populations, and when they struggle, you sow more seed. You help them out, and you don't just take without mindlessly, but that you are present and caring for them.
Yeah,
So-
no, I think that's so valuable to just cover that sort of conversation, because what I got from what both of you guys were explaining, and what I feel aligned with what you're saying. I was thinking about both of these having their place, but it's more purpose driven. So if your purpose is to you know, let's say, you know, run of the mill, whoever, I want to make a such and such tea. Okay, great. Well, that's fine. It's a very pragmatic purpose that they're looking for. And so perhaps, you know, accessing something that has been grown by a cultivator who has been looking after the plants in a very respectful manner is going to be a more appropriate choice for that person to get said herb for tea rather than going and seeking that herb out for wildcrafting purposes. Where if there's something that's a little bit more personal that person is seeking with a plant, wildcrafting might be the best choice, and they already have that connection. And then you're not going to be going into that seeking a large quantity for like all this stuff. But I was just, you know, I'm not going to really include a lot of what I'll say, but I just really appreciate us covering that because I think it's a hot topic and I think it's something.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Oh man, this is
all the time. Yes.
Yeah, of course. And I'm sure people ask like, oh, is this particular herb wildcrafted that you're selling, or is this one, where is it from? Blah, 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 right? So they want to know.
Yeah, and if a plant is endangered, or there may be some cultural reason why we wouldn't carry a plant, there does come some education around that and conversation with people who come in.
It's all connected. It's all connected. Okay, so what is the ultimate goal and dream for you both of the shop?
To live amongst the herbs together. Alive.
Yeah, long term. It's a long-term goal.
Nice.
And for it to become a family, community-based business, and to keep developing long-term relationships with other community partners, whether they're farmers or herbalists or other makers, like someone wants to work with Anna and the farmers to make our own line of tinctures. So there's a real collaboration, you know, with multiple people, and building those kind of relationships, I think, strengthens our community and strengthens us. And
build a big, strong, beautiful web.
And there are lots of herbalists practicing in the city, and there are other apothecaries in different that offer different things, and that we complement each other as well and refer among each other, so that we're not just the hub, but we're one of a network.
Yeah, we support each other.
So we really want to promote that cooperation and within the community too, and model that.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I think that's a fantastic long-term goal and plan for you both and for the shop. Continue being the Green Muse that you both are and the shop for well into the future. Okay, being a mother-daughter team is very special. Would you both like to share how you creatively became, you know, a team together and will work together as well?
Yeah, well, I feel like gardening together laid the foundation. Well, other than
our whole lives.
Our whole lives.
Yeah.
More recently.
More recently gardening. And slash also we feels like we live together now. And we eat together, cook together, create together, go for walks together. And as to how we do that, a lot of communication and dialogue, learning to communicate our needs and our boundaries and where we're at and
when needed.
Yeah, giving space and being aware of our capacity and what else?
Making changes when we're ready.
Yeah.
Not saying, well, we have to do this, this, and this. And it's like, well, we're not ready to do that yet. We might have some ideas, and just being open to keep shifting them and responding to, you know, customers and partnerships. And so really being open and listening to what's happening around us and listening to ourselves and what like Anna says, knowing our capacity and not trying to do too much too soon, and being really happy with a slow, steady growth and not trying to grow too quickly. So that's important for us.
Yeah, and like you said with the spiral, you know, it just feels like we're like when we wrap some of the incense we sell in the shop here, whether it's like mugwort or sage or rosemary. We've got some bay as well. It just feels like you're going like tighter toward the center all the time. You know, just like you just kind of
Spiral
yeah,
down.
and so a lot of the business is
Oh,
kind of
that's
around
right.
like our own lives and what we're looking for access to. And so yeah, like part of this business grew out of need, and needing access to herbal medicine, because even though I had the skills and education, I did not have the financial stability or yeah. And then when my health took a turn, it was just like kind of a call to shift priorities and change, um, and change our lives to be kind of more integrated. And so the shop, a lot of what we carry, like we started carrying olive oil because we wanted to have access to good quality olive oil
Nice.
ourselves for both medicine making and cooking in the kitchen. And yeah, what
So
else?
we do a project and then we think what we need for it, and we order it, and then we order extra for our customers.
Beautiful. I love that. I also really love how you were saying about, identifying when you're not ready yet and choosing, okay, we're going to work through this at a slow, steady growth pace. There's so much about society that's like, like, let's do it now. Well, how much faster? Show me more productivity. Where, you know what I mean? All these weird demands, and then nobody has a chance to really go about things in a concentrated, focused, clear-headed manner. So it only makes sense that the two lovely women running a herbal dispensary and creating a herbal community and being part of a network and being, informed and educated in herbology and the arts, they're going to be going at it in the same the same manner in which a plant would, tackle it as well. So I think that only makes sense. That's really beautiful.
Yeah. We practice first before we promote, before we had the signs made for the shop. Yes, we started practicing,
Mhm.
so not a lot of people knew about us at first, and then slowly word of mouth, and then we put up some signs, and a website, and yeah.
Yeah,
So good.
slowly, one
Important
day at a time.
to feel grounded and
Yeah.
Yeah.
comfortable in what we're doing and confident, and then
And not lose sight of why we're doing it and enjoying the journey and the process, because that's why we're doing it, is for the process, because it's the process that we're finding is really nourishing us.
And I hope that Anna one day will have, a fuller practice where she can consult with people one-on-one. But this apothecary will be a strong foundation for that, and the knowledge of all the plants, and to advocate for the plants first, I think, is really important too, so that when you're consulting with people, that you're introducing them to the plants. And this will create that strong foundation, I think, for being able to have that right relationship between humans and plants and clients.
Yeah, part of
Practicing.
not being ready to practice was not having access to the ingredients that I wanted and the foundation that I wanted to be there before I started practicing. I don't want to ship a dispensary from England.
Yeah.
And yeah, so part of like we're trying to create a community of folks interested in growing herbs, but also we're going to do our own hydrosols, salves, tinctures, infused oils. So everything you kind of need in a functioning clinic, but to be able to find good sources and grow and do as much as we can ourselves, so that we have that. So we have those important first relationships.
So supporting herbalists and individuals who have some knowledge and want to make some products at home themselves. So also supporting the individual who's learning at maybe a more basic level, and or people who go to a herbalist and have regular consultations, and then they get a little list of, instead of a pharmacy of prescriptions, they come with a list of plant medicine, and we come here and Anna will fill it and give them advice about the plants and
Nice.
Safety.
how safety, really important advice about how those plants work together, so that they get a fuller picture of the medicine and how it's working within them.
That's gorgeous. And yeah, that is taking the right approach. You have to move in waves and in different stages. That's why there's, grades even in school. You have to lay down your foundation. You have to experience and engage before you can take it to the next step. And, it's just about taking the right amount of time that you need to do that. And I really admire and appreciate the whole plan and the whole path and the direction that you guys are taking it and building it in. It's gorgeous. This is wonderful. Okay, I know the website, but also you guys have social media activity on Instagram as well. And there's all kinds of awesome things you share in your stories and are on the feed. So nag everyone and remind them all, what is your Instagram handle so that they can be in the loop?
Yeah, if you're interested as to what herbs we have available, we've got the full list on our website, www.greenmuseherbs.com. We try to update it as regularly as possible. The prices are also on there, which are organic, which are fair trade, which are wild harvested. We do have a few of those. We're on Facebook, we're on as Green Muse Herbs, and we're on Instagram as Green Muse Herbs. And yeah, send us a message, reach out, come down, check it out. We'll be here.
Awesome. Thank you. This has been amazing. I just want to mention that website is amazing. I remember when I was checking, I was like, whoa, this is the first time I've been on a local. Obviously, we're in a different time era right now, and website access and web access has a different priority now. But to be able to go on, see the full list of herbs, which is mighty to say the least, and then also to have the price per gram was amazing. That is such an incredible feature for anybody who is, wanting to make plans to work on getting something or to make something. It really makes you're facilitating that just by having that on the website. And that's very, very cool. So
yeah, we want it to be accessible. We want to be transparent. Ask us anything about our sourcing. Ask us anything.
Still more to come on the website, but slowly when we're ready.
Yeah.
Well, hey,
we're gonna add more.
Yeah.
Goody stuff. Right now, it's really great. Like for any website that's under construction or is in development, looks amazing. It's great. It's fantastic. My gosh, it has been an absolute pleasure talking with you two today. This has been spectacular, and I can't just. All I can do is just remind people to stop by the shop, check out the website, come say hello to these two beautiful women, and communicate about herbs and chat about these things. So gosh, thank you. Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Thank you for your warm and gracious support to participate in this, because it's a little nerve-wracking at the beginning, but you just make us feel so comfortable and like a real conversation, and that you came down to the shop and we met you, and makes all the difference. Feel really connected. Thank you.
Yeah, and checking in with us. Yeah.
As both a watcher and a fan of Green Muse Herbs, I wanted to showcase and feature the slow and steady plant-like growth of both the shop and the creators of it. Thank you, Anna and Sandra, for chatting with me. It was an utter delight. Please go in person to Waddington Alley in Victoria, British Columbia, and visit Green Muse Herbs. Gain insight, perspective, and empowerment to heal yourself with the guidance of Anna and Sandra.